Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 29. In this lesson, we will introduce the student to CH. Let's get started by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the card pack with the words on which the student is currently working, some blank cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you are going to need the teacher instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. Moving on to the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and the auditory drill, you'll have the teacher instruction sheet and the card pack for the student. Moving on to the syllable card drill, you'll see it looks a little different today than it has in past lessons because we only have one prefix today with multiple bases. And we're going to be thinking about the meanings of the different parts. So con means with and flict means to strike. And when we talk about the meanings with the student, we'll have them tap out each syllable and then put the two syllables together to form conflict. And then we'll talk about the meanings of the different parts of the word and then the meaning of the whole word, and we'll put them in sentences. You can write the meanings on the back of all the different syllable cards and discuss them in that way. And then moving on to the magnetic letter tile drills for spelling and reading. You'll need your magnetic letter board and the tiles for this one. Notice that I've got a CH on the board today. We're going to begin introducing some new combinations, and as I do that, I will add them to my board. And syllable pounding, we'll have the instruction sheet for that, and the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet. We'll use parts of that today because we're introducing CH. Then you'll have the lesson sheets, including the single word sheet, the story, and the sentences for writing. In addition to all of that, we'll have one more drill, and you'll have to cut this one out, and it's for the sounds of S. The student takes the card, for example, they'll take the card miss, and they'll tap it and say it and get the word miss. And then they're trying to decide is when you add the suffix S to miss, is it the S or is it ES that you add? Is it is or S or Z? So once they figure that it is misses, then they will take that card and they will put it under the correct heading. You won't have time to do all of the cards, so just keep an eye on the time. There are some nonsense ones thrown in, and they will be in italics so the student can identify what's nonsense. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, take out the card pack on which you're currently working, and I want you to read through the cards. When you get one correct, you will put a check mark in the bottom corner. And if you encounter problems, your teacher is ready with blocking strategies to help you. Once you're finished, give the card pack to your teacher. Then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher reads the card, and you write it down. So you'll need a paper and some pencils and a pencil to do this. When you get one correct, you'll put it in the other corner of the index card. You'll put a check. And then you guys can have a discussion about which of these words has been mastered. If one is mastered, you can take it out of the card pack. That gives you space so that if there's time, you can introduce a new sight word. Let's do the short vowel drill. Student, you'll have to take out your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence for this one. As you gain mastery over the different short vowel sounds, your teacher will reduce the number of times that you're tracing the shape, saying apple, until all those sounds are mastered and the drill is no longer required. So teacher, you're just keeping an eye on what you think, which of those sounds has been mastered. Okay, do that drill now, and then you're going to read the keyword sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. Student, you're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Your first sound is S. Can you repeat that sound? Now take out a colored tile and call it S. Okay, your next sound is Eh. Can you repeat that sound? Now grab a new color and call it Eh and put it right after the S. Your next sound is N. Can you repeat that sound? Grab a tile, call it N, and put it onto the end. Your last sound is T. Can you repeat that sound? Okay, now find a tile for t and put it on the end. Now you have 4 sounds in front of you. Tap each sound and say it, and then underline it and say the whole word. Did you get sent? If you did, that's correct. I might say, I sent the letter. Okay, so that's sent. Can you find the s in sent? I'd like you to change the s into a w. Can you repeat that sound? W. Okay, what's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get went? If you did, that's correct. Now find the w in went and change that into a t. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get tent? If you did, that's right. And how did you do with the colors? Because I think there are 2 t sounds in the word tent. So you would have 2 that were the same color. The beginning one and the end will be the same color. Okay, if that's tent, find the e in tent. Change the e into an ah. What's your new word? It's going to be a nonsense word. Tap it and say it. Did you get tant? If you did, that's correct. Now add a s to the front of tant. Tap it and say it. Did you get stant? Well, not a word on its own, that's true. Let's turn it into a real word. So find the last t in stant and change that last t to a d. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get stand, as in I will stand up? If you did, that's correct. You can put your tiles away. We're going to move into the visual drill now. And for that one, you're going to need this card pack. And teacher, you're remembering to remove the cards once the student has mastered them in both the auditory and visual drill. This is the visual drill, so the teacher flashes the card and the student says the sound. Student, what sound does this one make? Did you say stir? If you did, that's correct. And we're being really careful to take off the that we're so, we so often add to the end of sounds incorrectly. Teacher, you can flash about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. Let's do the auditory drill. This time the teacher has the card pack and the teacher says the sound. Student, your sound is purr. Can you repeat that sound? Okay, now what letters go with that sound, purr? I'd like you to write them down, and as you're writing them down, it's a good idea to say the sound again. And then once you're finished, underline it and say the sound a 3rd time. Did you get purr is PR? If you did, that's correct. Teacher, you can do this for about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. It's time for the syllable card drill. The teacher has this one all cut out and set up on the table for you, student. In today's drill, I'd like you to begin by discussing the concept of base and prefix. Which one is the base and which one is the prefix? Then on the back of the card, your teacher's written the meanings of the different syllables. And as you're tapping and saying and forming these 2-syllable words, you're going to be discussing the meanings of each of the syllables and then trying to put the sentence, put the word into a sentence as you do it. Let's do some syllable pounding. So this is where you stretch out your arm, and every time you hear a syllable, one of your fingers shoots out. Your word is inhabit. Did you have 3? If you did, that's correct. How about gumdrop? Remember that you're listening for vowel sounds. Gumdrop. Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. Fantastic. How many are in that word? Fantastic. I count 3. Fantastic. How about this one? Object. That one has 2. Okay, let's review when we add the suffix s and when we add the suffix es onto a base. And also, we'll be reviewing the different sounds that are made. drill works is that the student has a card in front of them, a base, and the student taps it and says it. So perhaps the word is miss. And then the student considers the different prefixes, S and ES. Which one is the correct one to add on to that base? A good idea is to put it in a sentence. He misses her. So then I think misses. Oh, a second syllable was added. So that must be an ES situation. So then I take that card miss and I sort it into the correct pile under the heading S sounds like IZ, ES. You can do this for as many cards as your teacher thinks that you have time to do. Any ones that are nonsense words will be in italics. So do a couple cards right now and work through that sort and then come back to me. Let's move into the new content part of the lesson. We'll start with what you know. So student, in past lessons, we learned about a situation where you can have two consonants and they're side by side, just like this one, S and L. And each one keeps its own sound, but because we say them quickly, they seem to blend together. Soul. Can you say that sound? Soul. Do you hear that it's a S and a ul? We're just saying them quickly and they kind of blend. So that's called a consonant blend. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about a different situation when you can have two consonants and they're side by side, just like the blend, but instead of blending, it makes a brand new sound. So instead of being k, like we would expect in a consonant blend, this one makes the sound ch. Can you repeat that sound? Ch, as in chip. I wonder if you can think of some other words that start with ch. Chop, chap. You could have CH at the end of a word too. Munch, lunch, crunch. So the most common sound of this one is CH, but it actually has the ability to make three sounds. CH can say ch, as in chip, k, that K sound, as in school, or it can make the sh sound, as in machine. So that's three sounds. Let's say them together. Ch, k, sh. Try it again. Ch, k, sh. Okay, let's make a card for this one so that we can remember the sounds of CH. So take out a blank index card and let's write down CH on the card. On the front, I'm going to write it in big letters, but I'll use the lowercase letters on the front. And then in the corner, I'll write the capitals. So it'll look like this. Got that? Okay, on the back, I'm going to divide the card into three sections because we've got three sounds of CH. So this is how I'll do it. So on the front, I've got CH in lowercase, CH in uppercase, and then I've divided it into three. We'll put the most common sound at the top, so I'm going to say the sounds it makes. So CH, K, and sh. Those are the three sounds that it can make. And then let's make a keyword for each one. So for CH, I'm going to draw a chip. And I'll write the word. Then teacher, you can tell the student how to spell these words. And that is my best potato chip. Chip. Okay, for K, the most common word that I know that uses this k sound of CH is school. So I'm going to draw a school. And remember, we don't have to be fancy artists here. We're just doing our best. So there's my school. And then for SH, machine is what I'm going to draw. And then maybe I'll draw a bank machine. Don't even really know how to do that, but there, machine. So that's my card. And it'll help me to remember that there's three sounds that CH can make. Ch, k, sh. But every time it's going to be spelled with CH. Know that CH says ch more often than any other sound that the CH is going to make. So if you see a word with CH in it, guess ch right off the bat. So this word would be, let's tap it and say it, ch-ap, chap. Chap is another word for man. And if I just change the vowel sound, I can get a new word. Tap this one and say it. That one is chop. And if I just change the vowel sound again, new word. That one is chip. There's another really common combination to make a bunch of different words that end in ch. So with your letter tiles, can you spell out U-N-C-H? Unch. And I'd like you, with your magnetic letter tile board, if you could just practice or just experiment with adding different consonants onto the front of unch. You will be able to form a great number of different words. Try that now and then come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. Student, your sound is ch. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile or tiles and pull them down. Okay, the next sound is I. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And the last sound is P. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you get chip? If you did, that is correct. I might say, I ate 2 chips. Okay, put that one away. And the next one, are you ready for it? Your sound is ul. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your last sound is ch. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you get lunch? I will have some lunch at noon. If you did, that's correct. Okay, it's time for the isolated word list, so you can read that list and then move on to the story and you can read the story. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Student, your word is chap. Can you repeat that word? Okay, chap is another word for man, so I could say a chap was walking down the street. What's the first sound that you hear in chap? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle, or tiles. And what's the second sound in chap? Okay, find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the third sound in chap? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you get C-H-A-P? If you did, that's correct. Put your tiles away and get ready for the next word. Your word is benches. Can you repeat that word? If I was going to put it in a sentence, I might say the park had many benches. What would you say? Okay, now this one's a big one. So how many syllables are in benches? Benches. There's 2, so we want to spell syllable by syllable. So let's start with bench. What's the first sound that you hear in bench? Okay, find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in bench? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in bench? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound in bench? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now let's work on the second syllable, is. You've got the base bench, so now we're adding something to the end, and so that's going to be a suffix. So you have to think what suffix ending sounds like is. Find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell the word B-E-N-C-H-E-S? If you did, that's correct. Okay, you can put your towels away, and we'll need a lined paper and a pencil. I'd like you to tap it and say it and then write it down. So your word is chat. Can you repeat that word? Chat means to have a talk, so I'd say I might have a chat with you. Okay, tap out the sounds and chat, then grab the word and say the whole word, and then write it down. Okay, teacher checks the work. Your next word, you can trace it, or if you prefer tapping, you can do the tapping. Chin. So trace or tap the sounds, grab the word, say the whole word, and then write it down. This is my chin. Chin. Okay, and then it's time to write sentences. So there are 3 sentences provided. Teacher, you can read the sentences to the student and let the student choose 2 that will get written. When the student finishes writing a sentence, then the student will check their work with chops. Let's do a quick review. Today we talked about the different sounds of the letter S. What are the 2 sounds that S can make? Did you say S and then its motor on sound of Z? If you did, that's correct. And when do we use, when are we going to say it as a S and when are we going to say it as a Z? What's the little thing that we use to remember that? So in a word like run, it'll say runs, but in a word like cat, it'll be the motor off sound of cats. How do we know? Have a quick discussion about with your teacher about that, and then come back to me. Did you say we look at what happens right before the suffix? So if the sound before the suffix is a motor on, we'll just keep the motor on and the S will sound like Z, its motor on sound. But if the letter before the S, the sound before the S is a motor off, then we'll keep the motor off. Pops, because P is a motor off sound. And how about ES? What sound does this one make when we actually say it? It usually sounds like IZ, is. But we have to remember that the suffix is always written as ES. And when do we use ES instead of S? Have a quick discussion with your teacher. Did you say when we add a second syllable? Because we need to have the E there, or else we wouldn't have a syllable, because every syllable has to have a vowel in it. Okay, and then the other thing that we were talking about today, we introduced a new combo, which is 2 consonants that go walking right side by side, but they make a brand new sound. A consonant digraph, we call it. So CH can make 3 different sounds. What are the 3 sounds of CH? The 3 sounds are ch, k, and sh. Can you repeat those? Ch, k, sh. Those are the 3 sounds. Excellent job today. That's the end of lesson 29. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.